The world is watching the Red Sea, a vital artery of global trade and a region steeped in history. For centuries, this waterway has connected East and West, enabling the exchange of goods, ideas, and cultures. Now, the Red Sea is at the center of a geopolitical storm, where the established order faces unprecedented challenges. A new and chilling threat has emerged, one that goes beyond traditional security concerns and strikes at the heart of international norms and maritime law. Its implications are far-reaching, potentially impacting global supply chains, energy markets, and the balance of power. This isn't about pirates from movies or history books. While piracy is still a concern elsewhere, the threat in the Red Sea is of a different nature. Nor is it just Houthi drones, which have long disrupted shipping and endangered civilian vessels. The Houthi rebels have shown they can project power across the Red Sea, but this new threat is even more alarming. This is something far more calculated, a deliberate strategic act meant to send a message and test the resolve of the international community. It's not random aggression, but a carefully orchestrated display of power. Picture a German surveillance aircraft high above the Red Sea, monitoring vital shipping lanes. On a European security mission, part of a multinational effort to ensure the safety and stability of this crucial waterway, essential for protecting global trade and upholding international law. Suddenly, the aircraft is targeted by a blinding green laser, powerful enough to damage sensitive equipment and endanger the crew. This was no accident. The targeting was precise and intentional, a deliberate act of aggression. The act came from a Chinese warship, a vessel of the People's Liberation Army Navy, equipped with advanced technology and projecting significant military power. Thousands of miles from home, China is operating far beyond its traditional sphere, showing its ambition to become a global maritime power. This incident is a flashpoint, a moment of heightened tension that could escalate. It's a test of wills, a challenge to the established order, and a stark reminder of the dangers beneath the surface of international relations. It signals a dangerous shift in the global balance of power, where established norms are questioned and the risk of miscalculation is ever present. A European Union mission was meant to protect global trade and ensure the free flow of goods through this vital waterway. It was directly challenged by the People's Liberation Army Navy, a clear signal of China's willingness to assert its interests, even at the risk of escalating tensions. The use of a military-grade laser is a brazen, provocative act that raises serious questions about China's intentions in the region. It's a test of Europe's resolve. Will Europe stand firm or back down and signal a weakening commitment to international security? The silence of the sky was shattered, maritime surveillance disrupted by this act of aggression. A focused beam capable of catastrophic harm. A weapon that could blind pilots, damage systems, and cause tragedy. Why would China, a UN Security Council member with a responsibility to uphold peace, take such a reckless action? What message is China trying to send? And what are its ultimate goals in the Red Sea? This is more than a headline, it's a warning sign. It's a wake-up call for every nation that values a rules-based order. A reminder that international law and freedom of navigation are constantly under threat and must be defended. The Red Sea is a vital choke point for global commerce, a narrow passage through which much of the world's trade flows. Connecting Europe and Asia, any disruption here can have profound consequences for the global economy. For China to act aggressively in this critical waterway is a matter of grave concern. It's a power play of immense significance, a move that could reshape the geopolitical landscape. It's a declaration that China wants to shape, not just participate in, the future of global security. The security architecture of the Middle East, already plagued by conflict, now faces a new and destabilizing force. This is not friendly competition. It's a deliberate act of intimidation. It's a dangerous game with global stakes, one that could have devastating consequences if not handled with care and diplomacy. The world's response will set a precedent. How the international community reacts will determine whether such acts become the new normal or are met with decisive condemnation. The stability of this region affects the goods you buy, the products on store shelves, and the prices you pay. The fuel in your car, the energy that powers homes and industries. Instability in the Red Sea ripples across the globe, affecting economies everywhere. This is a direct challenge to freedom of navigation and international law, a principle that ensures safe passage through international waters. The stakes could not be higher for global peace and security. The future of international relations may hinge on how this crisis is resolved. The world demands answers, a clear explanation of what happened and why. Those responsible for this act must be held to account. Let's break down what happened and why it matters. Let's explore the complexities of this incident and its potential consequences for the world. Subscribe, like, and share Cosmo Academia. Let's examine the facts. We'll break down the key events and circumstances of a significant incident with far-reaching consequences. It's crucial to understand exactly what transpired. On July 2nd, 2025, a date that will likely be remembered for a long time, a German Beechcraft King Air 350, a sophisticated surveillance aircraft, was conducting a routine EU security mission over the Red Sea. The crew's job was to protect civilian shipping, ensure safe passage of goods, and deter threats from Houthi attacks in this critical maritime choke point. Suddenly, the cockpit was struck by an intense, disorienting laser beam, a blinding flash that compromised the pilot's vision. There was no warning, no radio call, no attempt at communication, just a direct, unprovoked attack on the aircraft and its crew. The source of the laser attack was a Chinese warship, patrolling the same waters under the guise of maintaining regional stability. This was not a random encounter or misunderstanding at sea. The Chinese vessel had been observed in the area on numerous occasions, closely monitoring maritime activity. But this time, its actions crossed a dangerous line, deliberately targeting the German aircraft with a military-grade laser. The laser's intensity was far beyond acceptable, powerful enough to threaten the crew's eyesight and potentially cause permanent damage. As a result, the mission was immediately aborted. The plane had no choice but to break off its patrol and make an emergency return to base, cutting short its vital patrol to ensure maritime security. The German aircraft was operating entirely within a declared EU security zone as part of the European Union's Operation Aspides, a mission dedicated to safeguarding maritime trade. The Chinese warship, while legally present in international waters, chose to interfere with a legitimate security operation. This was no accident or mishap. It was a calculated act of intimidation, a display of power projection. The message from that green laser beam was clear. China is willing to openly challenge Western security missions, even far from its own shores. The implications of this incident are deeply troubling and demand serious international attention. Why was the German plane there? Operation Aspides. This EU mission, launched in 2024, was created to protect shipping in the Red Sea. Its goal: shield civilian vessels from Houthi attacks. The mission is defensive, not offensive. It escorts commercial ships, provides early warnings, and neutralizes threats to keep trade moving. The German plane's advanced sensors extend the reach of the naval task force. 12% of global trade passes through these waters. When threatened, the world feels it. Operation Aspides is a global public good. The Chinese laser attack interfered with a legitimate security mission. It raises the question: does China support global security or just its own ambitions? Germany responded swiftly and publicly. The Foreign Office and Defense Ministry directly blamed the Chinese military, calling the act unacceptable and dangerous. The Chinese ambassador was summoned, a serious diplomatic move. Germany demanded a full explanation and rallied support from allies. Officials emphasized the professionalism of their forces and the recklessness of the Chinese action. This incident marks a shift. China is now seen as a strategic competitor, not just a trading partner. The age of economic naivety is over. Subscribe, like, and share Cosmo Academia. Why did China do this? One theory is that China was deliberately testing European resolve, searching for weakness. Another suggests China aims to assert dominance over regional security rather than let the West lead. This fits a broader pattern of assertive Chinese actions. Chinese forces have previously used lasers against other nations. These are examples of gray zone warfare, hostile acts that fall short of open conflict. Some argue it could have been a local miscalculation, but China's strict military control makes that unlikely. The underlying message is clear. China feels confident enough to challenge the West, even far from home. This reflects a much larger strategic shift underway. A laser attack on an aircraft is no prank. Military-grade lasers can blind pilots, causing instant disorientation and risking a crash. The threat isn't just temporary. These lasers can cause permanent eye damage. The psychological shock can lead to panic and poor decisions in the cockpit. Sensitive surveillance equipment can also be destroyed, blinding the aircraft's sensors. This is a mission-kill weapon, not a harmless tool. Such attacks violate international safety norms and endanger lives. For a professional navy to use this tactic is shocking and reckless. It's not legitimate competition. It's a dangerous escalation. The international community must treat these actions with utmost seriousness. Allowing such behavior sets a dangerous precedent. Aviation safety depends on strict adherence to established rules. The stakes are human lives and global security. This single laser attack, seemingly isolated, has global consequences. It sends shockwaves through international relations, forcing a reassessment of geopolitical strategies. The effects reach trade, security, and the foundations of international law. For Europe, it's a wake-up call, a reminder that security interests now extend far beyond the continent. The incident underscores the interconnectedness of global security and the need for a unified, robust response to emerging threats wherever they arise. The EU's credibility as a security provider is on the line. Its response will be closely watched by allies and adversaries, demanding decisive action and a clear commitment to international norms. For Asia, it amplifies concerns that China's aggressive tactics are not limited to its region. It raises questions about future stability in the Indo-Pacific and beyond. Beijing's willingness to use coercion wherever its interests lie challenges the established order and risks destabilizing key regions. For global shipping, it adds risk and uncertainty to a vital trade route, potentially disrupting supply chains and raising costs worldwide. If major powers begin harassing each other's patrols, tensions in already volatile waters could escalate. The region becomes more dangerous for civilian mariners, increasing the risk of accidents and further escalation. This is a test for the international rules-based order, a moment to reaffirm diplomacy and adherence to legal frameworks. If such acts go unpunished, it signals that might makes right, undermining justice and equality in the global system. The world is at a crossroads, a pivotal juncture. How we respond will shape the future of international relations, global security, and our interconnected world. The Red Sea incident is a symptom of deeper tensions and a warning of potential future conflicts. It's about the future of global order, the balance of power, and the ability of the international community to maintain peace and stability in a complex world. The stakes are high, demanding immediate action from world leaders to de-escalate tensions and reaffirm their commitment to a peaceful future. Subscribe, like, and share Cosmo Academia. This incident marks a turning point. It reshapes international relations. Europe now views China less as a partner and more as a rival. Security concerns outweigh economic interests. The event highlights the challenge of facing both Russian and Chinese assertiveness. It may strengthen security ties between Europe, the US, and Indo-Pacific allies. Shared threats drive nations to cooperate. Ironically, China's intimidation could unify its rivals. The incident exposes the need for better military communication to prevent escalation. Without clear protocols, every encounter risks spiraling out of control. The stakes are too high for reckless games. What's next? De-escalation and accountability are essential. China must explain its actions and commit to preventing repeats. The EU must maintain diplomatic pressure and strengthen military professionalism. Clear protocols and hotlines are needed to avoid future incidents. Europe must invest in its own security and stand united. This incident shows economic power alone isn't enough. Credible defense is vital. The world faces a choice: rules-based order or chaos. The consequences of that choice will define the century. Subscribe, like, and share Cosmo Academia.